What is going on, everyone? I think we could all agree that the Houston Texans will have a new starting running back in 2024. That's why we have been looking at NFL free agency, which starts in a couple of weeks, looking at the NFL draft. From what we've seen on social media, three of the top pending free agents have their eyes set on the Houston Texans. One of them, Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants. This is a clip from our guy Aaron Wilson, who does a fantastic job covering the Houston Texans.
South champions. They're a team that a lot of people, a lot of free agents want to come to. Perhaps even Saquon Barkley. I've been told it's his favorite team right now, his choice in free agency. We'll see if that leads to a deal, if the Texans reciprocate, but there's communication back and forth with him and top players like C.J. Stroud. A lot of recruiting efforts, a lot of smoke this time of year. We're here to document it all.
Then we see Patrick Storm quote that video and say, Saquon isn't the only running back on the market with their eyes on Houston. Everyone went crazy. What are you talking about? Who are these players? Storm quotes stats and says, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, and Josh Jacobs are the three that I know of. These guys have their eyes set on Houston. Look, we all knew the Texans were going to be a destination after the season they just have. Everyone sees the foundation pieces: head coach DeMeco Ryans, quarterback C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson Jr., Derek Stingley. I'm going to go ahead and throw Christian Harris in there. Every free agent should be looking at this Houston Texans team and think, I can go there and win and compete. With that being said, we're going to be looking at this running back class in free agency, talk about the guys that have their eyes set on the Houston Texans, and wonder whether or not they will be a good fit. Welcome, everyone, to the 713 Houston Sportcast. I am your host, Ruben Calvillo. I drop daily Houston Texans content, and this episode was brought to you by my friends at Underdog Fantasy. Use my promo code 713HOU, download the app, and get a first-time bonus deposit up to $100. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching today's episode. The first running back we're going to be talking about, DeAndre Swift from the Philadelphia Eagles. His first year in Philly after spending the previous three with the Detroit Lions, betted on himself. First Pro Bowl nomination in 2023. His stats on the year: 1,049 yards, 5 touchdowns. Also gave them 39 receptions for 214 yards and 1 touchdown, a 175-yard performance against the Minnesota Vikings, a 130-yard performance against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. DeAndre Swift is only 25 years old. The youth here is what I love, and I think the future could be bright for DeAndre Swift. I mean, he is fresh. Wasn't the primary back with the Detroit Lions his first year, gets the opportunity and shines behind a very good Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. When you go to PFF and you look at what they have to say, Swift is a shifty back who can make defenders miss in a phone booth, but rarely seeks out or runs through contact. It doesn't always have the best eyes for developing holes between the tackles. He has good breakaway speed if there are large enough holes created before contact, and is a natural hands catcher, but he is prone to the occasional focus drop when he takes his eyes off the football and thinks about his first move before securing the ball. They have his contract at 3 years, $18.75 million total, $12 million guaranteed, and in those 3 years, we'll be making $6.2 million a year. That's what it could potentially take to make DeAndre Swift a Houston Texan. I would not mind this at all. The only thing that would scare me is that this is his best season. And once again, he would have to prove himself here in Houston. That's why PFF also says that he will carry the same question marks Miles Sanders did last offseason. And Sanders lost the starting job to Chuba Hubbard in Carolina about halfway through his first year of a 4-year contract. So the Houston Texans need to make sure DeAndre Swift is the guy, because you do not want to be like the Carolina Panthers. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think about the Houston Texans potentially getting someone like DeAndre Swift. The second running back we are going to be talking about is Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders. arguably one of, if not the best running back in the NFL last year, an all-pro year, 2,000 all-purpose yards, 1,653 rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns. Also gave them 400 receiving yards off of 53 catches. Then in 2023, his stats took a dip. But the entire 2023 season for the Las Vegas Raiders was a movie itself. The whole Josh McDaniels implosion. Here comes in Antonio Pierce to try to save the season, and I think he did a fantastic job. I am rooting for him. I think he will do good for the Las Vegas Raiders. But 2023 from Josh Jacobs, 805 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns. Also gave them 296 receiving yards off of 37 catches. But like I said, 23 was just a down year for the entire Las Vegas Raiders organization. PFF said, a year removed from winning the rushing title in 2022, Jacobs endured an ugly start to the year amid the implosion of the Josh McDaniels era, and his rushing grade finished nearly 10 points below any prior season. He averaged just 3.5 yards a carry in 2023. Fortunately, Jacobs being utilized more frequently and effectively was a focal point of the Antonio Pierce regime. He amassed at least 98 yards from scrimmage in 3 of those 5 games before a quad injury ended his season. Jacobs will turn 26 this month before free agency and should still have plenty left in the tank, and they have his contract projected at 3 years, $34.5 million, $21.25 million guaranteed, and he will be making $11.5 million annually during those 3 years. If I am the Houston Texans, I try to get it a little bit lower, but I think Josh Jacobs will be fantastic here and would feed families. Let me know what you guys think about Josh Jacobs. The third and final running back we are going to be talking about is Saquon Barkley. And to be honest with you guys, I honestly believe once NFL free agency begins on March 13th, Saquon Barkley will be a Houston Texan. PFF has his projected contract at 3-year, $36.75 million, $20.1 million guaranteed, and in those 3 years, an annual salary of $12.25 million. That's what it would potentially take to make Saquon a Houston Texan. Here's what they have to say. Barkley is still capable of breaking off an explosive rush at any moment and made several highlight reel catches, including a wheel route touchdown to end with a dive for the pylon in Week 2 against the Arizona Cardinals. There's no doubt Barkley's highs are as high as any running back in the game. But the position market is tricky landscape to navigate in 2024, especially with his missing extended time in 3 out of the past 4 seasons. The good news for Barkley and all free agent running backs this offseason is that the 2024 running back draft class is not perceived to be strong. Now, the only concern with Saquon is injury. But I've said this many times, in 5 out of his 6 seasons, he has played no less than 13 games. That's still a good chunk of the season. Scared of money, don't make money. High risk, high reward. Go out there and get Saquon. Ladies and gentlemen, these were some of the top running backs that will be free agents once it starts on March 13th. And all 3 of these guys have expressed interest in joining the Houston Texans. Let me know what you think. For more content, feel free to follow me for more. Go H-Town. Have a blessed one.